Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. As I mentioned at the end of my last video a couple days ago, today I want to review a particularly interesting to me piece. And before we get started, the customary wristwatch check, and today I'm wearing the blue, or green rather, Swatch System 51 Swiss Automatic. I made a review on this, and I'll leave a little link to it right up top and below in the description. And today's a lazy Sunday. It's a fun watch. I thought it matched well with the shirt, with the pastel theme. Trying to keep it fashionable every once in a while. But yeah, it's definitely a great little summer watch, and it's a ton of fun. And today, the watch I wanted to talk about couldn't be farther from the Swatch System 51. And that is a Tourneau branded Valjoux 7753 based triple date moon phase chronograph. Wow, that was a mouthful. The watch doesn't have a model name, or I would have referred to it by that, but I'm just going to call it the 7753. Now, a little background story behind this piece is that you guys may know that I've worked, and I still do work, in the watch industry. And my second job ever in the watch industry was in retail, and I worked for a short little stint right here in New York at Tourneau's flagship store, the Tourneau Time Machine. Now, Tourneau is the largest watch retailer in the United States, and I think the Time Machine location on 57th Street is the second largest by square foot watch store in the world. But apart from selling all the top end brands, Tourneau also had their own line of watches. And that was produced by a little company based here in America called Walden International. They make boutique watches for other companies, kind of like an outsourced type of operation. And I picked this piece up while I was at Tourneau because I love the complications and I love the look. And you know what, guys? I think it's one of the most beautiful watches out there. So I figured I'd do a little review on it. So why don't we switch perspectives real quick and take a look at this beautiful triple date moon phase chronograph with a Valjoux 7753 that was sold by Tourneau in the early 2000s. It's no longer available. Let's switch it out. Hey guys, and welcome back. So this is the Tourneau 7753 based triple date moon phase chronograph. God, I'll never get tired of saying that. As you can see, it's a dressy piece, and it is rather complicated. This is one of the first pieces I picked up, and actually the only piece I picked up while I was working at Tourneau. And man, I really, really enjoy it. So, it's a 40 millimeter case, and it is a little bit thick at about 14 millimeters because it's got the ETA 7753 chronograph movement, which is a rather robust movement. But let's take a look at this beauty. Excuse this, but all I've got as a pointer is a pencil. So as we can see here, it's a day date. It says right now it's reading Sunday, January, and then this hand over here is the date, Sunday, January 11th. And right down there is the moon phase. And as I said, it's a chronograph, so it's a 7750 based. Press that to start it, and as you can see, the chronograph is running. And it's actually a pretty complicated movement. Longines use this a lot in their master collection. So that's a stop, and that's to reset. The crown, the first pull is the date. If you go one direction, counterclockwise, as you can see, the date is changing. And if you go the other direction, the moon phase changes, as you guys can see. I love the details of this watch. The beautiful sunburst guilloche dial, I'm not sure if you guys can see that kind of irradiates from the moon phase. It's a very cool look. I love the dark blue. It almost looks like lapis, but it's not, on the moon phase with the gold moon and the gold stars. That right here is a chronograph counter, but it's also a 24-hour dial, so you can know if it is AM or PM for the date. And then the month and day of the week are changed with this pusher right here. It's a very, very elegant watch, and there's a lot of different things about it. If you guys notice the hands, they are dark blue. This is done with a heat treatment and gold tipped, but they're a very, very different shape. These are what the industry calls palm or apple hands, and they're very rarely used. I think it gives it a very classy touch. And if you guys look closely at the dial, you'll notice that this is chronometer certified. I didn't expect Tourneau to go through that trouble, but it is chronometer certified, which makes this even more special. Nice signed crown. And then if we look at the back, this, I think, is one of the most special parts of the watch. And I'm not just saying this, but this is one of the most beautifully decorated 7753 movements I've ever seen. First thing is you can see the rotor that's engraved with the Tourneau logo, and it is gold filled, and it's got the Geneva stripes. But if you notice the other touches, they used blued screws and polished chamfers and edges. It's not very typical of a 7753, especially in what might be considered a mid-tier brand, but it's finished very, very well. Now, this being a dress watch, it is only, I believe, 30 meter water resistant, but that's more than okay. I mean, I bought this particularly for the unique look, and you know what? I still haven't found something that looks similar to this apart from maybe the Longines Master Collection. The only thing that maybe lets this watch a little down, if I have to be honest with you, is the buckle. I'm not a big fan of this deployment buckle. I mean, this is just a generic deployment which Tourneau kind of put their logo on, but you know, I can forgive it for that. The case also has this beautiful stepped edge, which is not very common. Guys, I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I guess what I'm trying to say is this piece very much surpasses my expectations, especially considering that it's a mid-range brand. I mean, the finishing on this is fantastic, for lack of a better word. Anyway, guys, let's get back to the studio and change it up. Welcome back to the studio. So what did everybody think of the Tourneau watch? I gotta be honest with you, the finishing and level of detail surpassed even my wildest expectations. Walden International really did a great job with that watch. And you know what? At the time when I purchased it, and even today, the main thing that kind of grabbed me in was the movement, the Valjoux 7753. It's the most, how should I put this? The most complicated based ETA movement you can find. So you can still get great stuff like a moon phase, which is my favorite part, a triple calendar, and a chronograph, or variations of those, because you can take the chronograph module out, or you can take the moon phase out, for a relatively decent price, because it is an ETA movement. And that's really what drew me to it, the complicated nature. And you know what, guys? It gets mistaken for a much more expensive watch every time I wear it. I might have to change the buckle because it's really what lets the watch down, but apart from that, I'm happy to have it in my collection. It doesn't get as much wrist time as it really should, being a lot more formal of a piece, and me just, you know, having evolved as a watch collector, so it sits in the watch box a lot. But I was looking at you know, a couple days ago when I decided to make this video, I was kind of looking at my collection, and I thought, that's something interesting that not everybody's seen. So guys, let me know in the comment below what you thought. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. It really does help. And don't forget to subscribe. We're really close to 5,000 subs. And remember, when we hit 5,000, I'll do a state of the collection that everybody's been asking me for. Thank you so much for sticking around for Federico Talks Watches, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.